Have you ever heard of Mansa Musa, the richest man in all of history? What about the Queen of Sheba, whose wisdom and wealth were legendary? Or Shaka Zulu, the military genius who forged a mighty empire? For too long, the incredible stories of Africa's great emperors and empresses have been overlooked, overshadowed by narratives that focus on anything but the continent's glorious past. Well, today, we're changing that. We're pulling back the curtain of history to reveal the epic tales of power, innovation, and legacy that shaped not just Africa, but the entire world. So get ready to have your mind blown as we journey back in time to meet the hidden emperors of Africa. Let's start our journey in West Africa, in the heart of the Mali Empire. The year is 1324, and the world is about to witness a display of wealth so staggering it would destabilize economies for years to come. The man at the center of it all? Mansa Musa, the 10th emperor of Mali. When he embarked on his pilgrimage to Mecca, it wasn't a quiet, solitary journey. It was a procession of unimaginable scale. Imagine a caravan stretching as far as the eye can see, with 60,000 men, including 12,000 personal attendants, all dressed in the finest silks. Each of the 80 camels in the procession was laden with up to 300 pounds of pure gold. As Mansa Musa traveled through Cairo, he gave away so much gold to the poor and to the city's nobles that the local value of gold plummeted and didn't recover for over a decade. But he wasn't just showing off. This was a calculated move to put Mali on the map. It worked. European cartographers began drawing Mali and its king on their maps, often depicting Mansa Musa holding a golden scepter or a nugget of gold. His reign was the golden age of the Mali Empire. He wasn't just rich, he was a visionary. He transformed cities like Timbuktu and Gao into major cultural and intellectual centers. He commissioned the Great Djingueber Mosque in Timbuktu, which still stands today. He funded universities and libraries, attracting scholars, poets, and artists from across the Islamic world. Mansa Musa proved that an African kingdom could be a global superpower of wealth, culture, and intellect. His legacy isn't just about gold. It's about the golden age of knowledge he ushered in. Now let's travel further back in time and south, to the land that is now Ethiopia. Here we find a story that blurs the line between history and legend, the tale of the Queen of Sheba, known in Ethiopia as Keita. While many know her from biblical accounts of her visit to King Solomon in Jerusalem, her story is a cornerstone of Ethiopian national identity. According to the Ethiopian epic, the Keber Nagast, Keita was a powerful and wise ruler of the ancient kingdom of Axum. Intrigued by tales of Solomon's incredible wisdom, she embarked on a long, an arduous journey to his court, not as a subordinate, but as an equal, testing him with difficult questions and riddles. Impressed by her intellect and beauty, Solomon was equally captivated. The story tells us that from their union, a son was born, Menelik, who would become the first emperor of Ethiopia, founding the Solomonic dynasty that would rule for nearly 3,000 years, right up until the fall of Emperor Haile Selassie in 1974. Menelik is said to have returned to his father's kingdom as a young man, and on his journey home, he brought with him one of the holiest relics in Judeo-Christian tradition, the Ark of the Covenant. To this day, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church maintains that the Ark resides in a chapel at Axum, guarded by a single monk. The story of Keita is more than a myth. It's the foundational narrative of a nation, a testament to a legacy of powerful female leadership and a deep, ancient connection to the wider world that defined the Axumite Empire. Let's fast forward a few centuries and journey to southern Africa, to the early 19th century. This was a time of great turmoil and change, and a new power was about to rise, forged in the fires of conflict by a man of extraordinary military genius, Shaka Zulu. Shaka wasn't born into supreme power. He was the illegitimate son of a minor chieftain, and his early life was marked by exile and hardship. But this adversity molded him into a fierce and disciplined warrior. When he eventually seized control of the small Zulu clan, he didn't just become another chief. He started a revolution. Shaka completely reformed the Zulu army. He introduced a new, shorter stabbing spear called the Ikawa, which forced his warriors into brutal, close-quarters combat. He developed the famous buffalo horns formation, a tactic where a central force would pin the enemy while the horns encircled and annihilated them from the flanks. His discipline was absolute. Through conquest and diplomacy, he unified dozens of smaller clans into the formidable Zulu kingdom. In just over a decade, Shaka transformed a small tribe into a powerful empire that controlled a vast territory. While his methods were often ruthless, his impact is undeniable. He created a new sense of identity the Zulu nation, and his military innovations would challenge even the might of the British Empire decades later. Shaka Zulu, a story, is a raw and powerful epic of a man who rose from nothing to build an empire with his bare hands. Our next stop takes us back to West Africa, to the land that is now Nigeria. In the 15th century, the Kingdom of Benin was one of the oldest and most highly developed states in the region. At its helm was a ruler who would elevate it to the status of a true empire, Oba Ewuare the Great. His name, Ewuare, means the trouble has ceased, and it perfectly captures the peace and prosperity he brought to the kingdom after a period of intense political strife. Legend says he came to power after a dramatic struggle, but once on the throne, he proved to be a masterful politician, a formidable warrior, and a brilliant urban planner. Ewuare is credited with rebuilding much of Benin City, transforming it into a massive, fortified metropolis. He constructed huge walls and moats, creating one of the largest earthworks ever built. Early European visitors were stunned, comparing Benin City to the great cities of Europe and describing it as a place of order, with wide streets and impressive palaces. But Ewuare's genius wasn't just in construction. He was also a major patron of the arts. It was under his rule that the famous Benin bronze's intricate plaques and sculptures made of brass and bronze truly flourished. These artworks weren't just decorative, they were historical records depicting the kingdom's history, its rituals, and its Oba's divine power. Ewuare the Great laid the foundation for the Benin Empire's golden age, creating a sophisticated political system and a rich cultural legacy that continues to inspire awe. Today, from the opulent courts of Mali to the legendary history of Ethiopia, from the military might of the Zulus to the artistic brilliance of Benin, these stories are just a glimpse into the rich tapestry of Africa's imperial past. These emperors and empresses were not just rulers of forgotten lands, they were innovators, visionaries, and global players whose legacies are woven into the very fabric of world history. Her stories challenge our perspectives and remind us that greatness has no single color, continent, or creed. The history of Africa is a story of humanity at its most powerful, creative, and resilient. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through history. What other great African emperors do you think the world needs to know about? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to uncover more hidden stories from our world's past, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious.